I got the call on a Tuesday morning. I remember because I was fixing the back fence and my hands were still dirty when I picked up. "Mr. Daniels," the voice said, "we just wanted to confirm a large transfer from your joint account. It cleared this morning." I frowned. "What transfer?" She hesitated. "It was authorized by your wife. She said you approved it." I didn't say anything at first. I just stared at the spot where the wood split beneath the hammer earlier. It had looked fine from a distance, but up close it was hollow. "How much?" I asked. She told me the number. My chest didn't tighten and my voice didn't change, but something in me shifted, quietly, like a gear catching in the back of a locked drawer. I thanked her, hung up, went inside. The house was quiet. She was still at the retreat. Some spiritual wellness getaway 3 states over. "No phones," she said. "Just journaling, meditation, silence." I opened my laptop, checked the bank app. The account was almost empty. I didn't call her. I didn't send a message. Instead, I pulled out the little notebook where I kept my father's will, the inheritance he left me 6 years ago. The money we agreed never to touch unless we both needed it. The money we promised would be for our future, not our wants. She didn't even tell me. She just took it. And somewhere, between that call and the quiet hum of the fridge beside me, I stopped feeling confused and I started watching. My father wasn't a rich man, but he was disciplined. Every paycheck he ever earned was accounted for, every dollar given a name. When he passed, he left me a letter, a worn box of tools I still keep in the garage, and just over $200,000. His life's work tucked into a trust with my name on it. "Don't waste this," he wrote. "Build something that lasts," and I meant to. When I got married, I told her about it. She wasn't after the money, I believed that. In fact, she was the one who said we should leave it untouched. "That's for our future," she'd remind me anytime it came up. "We'll know when the time is right." So I never touched it. Not when the roof leaked. Not when we wanted to upgrade the kitchen. Not even when her mother fell sick and we had to scrape for hospital bills. I worked overtime, picked up contract jobs, but the inheritance stayed where it was, safe, whole, waiting. It was never about the money. It was what it represented: legacy, discipline, trust. And now it was gone, not lost, not stolen by a stranger in the dark, taken by someone who looked me in the eye and said we were a team. It wasn't just betrayal, it was erasure. She didn't just take the money. She buried the promise that came with it. And that does something. To a man, quietly, like dry rot behind a clean wall. I didn't break anything. I didn't scream. But inside, I started measuring the damage, and I hadn't even told her I knew yet. She said she needed space. Not in a dramatic way, just casual, almost offhand. "I've been feeling off lately," she said one night. "Overwhelmed. I found this wellness retreat with some girls from work. Just a long weekend. No phones, just fresh air and healing." I nodded. Didn't argue. Everyone needs room to breathe sometimes. But the timing, it stuck with me. The day she left, her bag was lighter than usual. No yoga mat, no hiking shoes, just a carry-on and that perfume she only wore for special occasions. I didn't ask questions, just helped load the trunk and kissed. Her cheek, she didn't look back when she pulled away. I gave it a day. Then I checked her social media. She'd forgotten I had a separate account from before we met. One she never bothered to block. First photo. A wine glass beside a fire pit. Caption said, "Day 2 of healing," but that glass was poured from a bottle I knew cost more than the entire retreat package. Next, a beach. No one else in sight. Then, a man's arm in the frame, just enough to catch. Not tagged, not named. I scrolled back to her original itinerary. She'd told me it was a rustic cabin in the mountains. Wellness meals, forest hikes, no beaches, no luxury, no mystery man. And worse, she got lazy with it. I didn't call her out, didn't message, just kept watching. Because when someone shows you who they really are, you don't interrupt them. You let them finish the story, and I was starting to see the ending. She left her iPad at home, synced to her phone, still connected to our shared account. It took 2 clicks to pull up her location. Not a mountain cabin, not a group retreat. A resort on the coast, private villas, infinity pools, personal chefs. The kind of place that doesn't advertise prices on the website because if you need to ask, you can't afford it. I opened our credit card portal. Spa charges, wine pairings, room service for 2, not guesses, receipts. I clicked through the resort's online gallery and matched the background from her latest photo to the exact villa listed under Romantic Escape. 2 guests, ocean view, and then the final nail, an image she didn't even post, saved in the cloud by mistake. The man standing beside her, smiling, hand on her waist. I knew him. She met him once at my company's holiday event. He'd been polite, shook my hand, called me sir. Now he was drinking my father's money, sleeping in the bed my wife reserved using our shared last name. I closed the screen. No reaction. No outburst. I just sat there breathing evenly. She didn't just leave me, she replaced me. And she thought I'd never know. But I'd already started laying the foundation for something else. Not revenge. Precision. Because betrayal hurts, but knowing it came with a receipt, that gives you all the leverage you'll ever need. I didn't say a word. Not when I saw the pictures, not when the charges cleared, not when I watched her smiling, wine glass in hand, with someone who didn't know what I already knew. Instead, I got to work. First, I visited the bank in person. I had them flag all recent transactions and pull security footage for the day the inheritance was drained. She'd walked in with confidence, signed papers with my name forged just neatly enough to pass casual inspection, but not neat enough to survive scrutiny. Then I opened a new account under my name only, moved every remaining dollar I could legally separate, rerouted my paychecks, called the estate lawyer who'd handled my father's trust and asked about fraud protection. Didn't ask questions, just started the paperwork. Back home, I changed the locks quietly, had the smart system rekeyed remotely, left the old key on her ring so she wouldn't notice until I needed her to. I downloaded everything from her cloud, screenshots, location history, text logs, saved copies to an external drive. One I kept in the garage, duct taped to the inside, of an old tool drawer she hadn't touched in years. She had no idea. And I wasn't doing this to punish her. I was preparing. Because while she was off spending what wasn't hers, I was building a file no courtroom could ignore. She wanted a retreat, but she was coming back to a reality I'd already rewired, and this time, I held every wire. She walked through the door like nothing had changed. Hair done, tan darker, nails freshly painted. She dropped her bag by the stairs, stretched like she'd been on a long flight, and smiled. "You look rested," I said. She laughed. It was amazing, so healing. I really needed it. I nodded. Bet the food was decent too. She blinked. Oh, it was mostly smoothies and grains. Very clean. I offered to take her bag up. She waved me off, started unpacking in the kitchen instead. Lotion bottles, a silk robe, an unfamiliar charger. She kept talking. All surface. The girls, the yoga, how the signal was terrible so she couldn't call. Let her talk. The lies came rehearsed, each one fitting neatly into the last. She'd practiced this maybe on the flight back, maybe in front of a mirror. I asked her how the weather was. She said rainy. The resort's webcam had shown sun all week. I asked if she got a receipt for the retreat. She said no, they paid in cash, pooled together. I nodded again. She thought I was believing her, or at least tolerating it. She had no idea how deep I'd already gone, no clue what I'd already secured. Sometimes the easiest way to watch someone hang themselves is to just keep handing them the rope inch by inch, and she still had plenty of rope left. I called my old friend Mark, used to serve in the JAG Corps, now handles white-collar cases with a specialty in asset fraud. I didn't tell him everything, just enough. She transferred funds from a trust using my forged signature. He asked for documents. I sent them. The bank footage, the notarized will, the forged withdrawal slip. His reply came fast. This isn't a marriage issue. This is theft. That word felt cold, but right. Mark filed a report with the Financial Crimes Unit. Quietly. No flashing lights, no door knocks. Just the beginning of a slow, grinding process that couldn't be stopped once it started. Then he filed a freeze request on our joint assets. Everything still in her name would be temporarily locked, pending review. She wouldn't know until she tried to move something again. Next came the forensic tracing. Every dollar from the trust was now being followed. Every resort charge, every room booked, every luxury spa receipt, logged, filed, matched against the source. Mark reminded me I had the right to protect my inheritance. I'm not being vindictive. I told him. I know, he said. You're protecting what's yours. I didn't yell at her, didn't tip my hand. At dinner, I passed the potatoes, smiled when she asked about work, nodded as she talked about needing to reset her intentions. She still thought she'd gotten away with it, but the system was already running, and I didn't have to lift a finger to punish her. I just had to stay still and let the process do what it was built to do. It started with a declined card. She was at a spa 2 towns over, one of those last-minute bookings she liked to call self-care days. I'd seen the charge pending the night before, knew the exact time it would fail. The account had been frozen for less than 12 hours. She called the bank from the lobby, voice sharp, fake calm. I listened from the hallway upstairs, her voice echoing through the vent. What do you mean? Flagged? I'm his wife, this is a joint account. The bank didn't call me, they didn't need to. Everything was already in motion. When she returned, she moved differently. Not angry, not confident, just rattled. Later that night, I watched her scroll her phone on the couch, frustrated, typing fast, deleting, retyping. Then silence. She stared at the screen, jaw tight. I knew that look. He'd stopped answering. The man from the villa. The one who was all champagne and sunrises when the money was flowing. He was gone. Probably once the card bounced. Or maybe when she told him things weren't under control. She didn't say anything to me that night. Just crawled into bed, pulled the covers up and turned her back to me. I laid there beside her, wide awake, listening to the tension in her. Breathing. She thought she was still ahead, that maybe this was just a glitch, but the system had only started flexing. And the panic in her silence told me she finally felt it. No yelling, no confrontation, just her world beginning to crack and knowing she'd built it on stolen ground. She found me in the garage the next morning, like she used to when things were normal, holding 2 mugs of coffee like peace offerings. I didn't reach for mine. I think we should talk, she said. I nodded. Let's. We sat at the kitchen table. Same one we picked out together 10 years ago. Oak, heavy, meant to last. I slid a folder across the surface. She didn't touch it. I knew before you left, I said. Her eyes twitched. She tried to speak. I didn't let her. I know about the resort, the man, the forged signature, the withdrawal. She stared, stunned, silent. Then I opened the folder. Photos, time-stamped statements, GPS data, footage of her at the bank, signing my name. She covered her mouth. Tears slipped down her face. I didn't mean. I raised a hand. You made choices, I said. This is just the outcome. She tried to apologize. To blame stress, confusion, loneliness. But none of it mattered now. What broke wasn't trust. It was the idea of her I'd held on to for too long. She wasn't the woman I married. Maybe she never was. And I wasn't going to waste another breath, pretending otherwise. She sobbed. I stood, walked out, and left her sitting at the table. The folder stayed behind. She needed to see it again. Alone. I didn't ruin her life. She did that herself. All I did was step back and let the truth breathe. The fallout came quietly. Fraud investigation pending. Accounts unrecoverable. Her family unsure what to believe. But I didn't gloat. I didn't stay to watch it burn. I signed the papers, handed over the file to my lawyer, and walked away. No yelling, no final fight, just silence and a clean exit. Now I live in a smaller place, simple, paid in full. I wake up early, brew strong, coffee and build furniture in a space that's finally mine. There's no background noise, no guessing games, no lies wrapped in soft smiles. She took my inheritance and thought it made her powerful. But peace isn't something you steal, it's something you earn, by surviving betrayal without becoming bitter. And in the end, I didn't need revenge. I just needed clarity. And I got it.